Another seamless start from the All About the Balls team. Anyway, this is episode 40, I think, of season 2. We're not entirely sure when the season's end, but it's episode 40 of season 2. It's Ollie here and it's Gareth there. And we're just two mates who love sport, know enough about it to have a good chat, but are distinctly lacking in a few key factual areas. But we hope you come along on the ride. It's meant to sound like two mates in the pub shooting the breeze about the weekend's activities. And Gareth, mate, I mean, I don't think we need to pause or go through any kind of funny jokes. We basically just need to dive straight in to the big news from the weekend. And it's hard for me to say this, but let me just say it to you. Let me just get it out there. Congratulations to Union Berlin, who beat Hertha Berlin in the big derby there. So that's great. So that's basically the sport.
I do like a derby. I thought you were going to congratulate Bournemouth on ending their 357 minutes goal drought against Man United.
That's very much our second story.
That's how solid the United defence is, that even Bournemouth, who cannot score for love nor money, managed to score an absolute weak goal against United.
You're in trouble when your club's goal of the month competition actually involves opponents' goals, because you're scoring so infrequently. But no, hang on, let's go back a step before we do really.
Let's take this seriously now.
Let's take this seriously, because that's exactly what our listeners have subscribed to. And we never want to let them down. But mate, before we dig into the really big news from the weekend, how are you? Because we've both had quite busy weekends, I think.
Yes, I'm very good, thank you. Busy Saturday, obviously. Early start. Well, it started 4 days in advance when I had to put my 100-inch projector screen up.
I love how you do these things so properly. It's fantastic.
Built a frame for it and whacked it up on the wall. I've now got 2 massive blocks of wood sticking out in my wall to make sure it was even. So that's not gone down brilliantly, but safety first, as I always say.
Absolutely.
So but obviously a very busy weekend, but a very buoyant weekend from my side of things. How are you?
I'm good. Now, look, I don't think we can let that pass without sharing, which I think is very impressive, story about how you and your lovely wife, gaily, willingly got dressed up as Power Rangers for a kid's birthday party.
For a 5-year-old's party.
Which I hasten to add you were invited to. Before we start getting calls,
yes,
you were invited.
Indeed.
You didn't just go to a local party. But how did you? Because if I remember rightly, this was going to be done after the World Cup celebrations.
It was post World Cup, so it was Sunday lunchtime. After what was a 14-hour beer food extravaganza on Saturday.
Beautiful.
I'll say 2 things. Lycra and me do not get along. And secondly, the visibility on them is poor.
What, as in the visual from like kids looking on, or from you looking out?
No. Well, look, I can't. Just looking out, you couldn't see that there was kids throwing balls at me. At one point, I got pinned down by 9 or 10 5-year-olds on the jumping castle. Couldn't get out. So and because I didn't know the kids well enough, I couldn't just start throwing them around in terms of like. If they were my son's friends, I would have been able to sort of be a bit more. Yeah. Look, you sit there, just calm down. I couldn't do that. I didn't know them well enough. So I basically just ended up getting absolutely just destroyed. Although the highlight of the whole situation was about a 8 or 9-year-old kid who had very quickly cottoned on that I wasn't a real Power Ranger.
Sport. What does he know? I've seen your CD.
Well, and I was like, there's always one who works it out. But to be fair, there was actually a little girl. She came over to me and went, just so you know, there's a hole in the back of your suit. Now, my instant fear was, how big and where? It's and in her where credit's due, she gave me a pretty accurate description of halfway up the zipper, not very big. You should be fine. And made it through. So, but yeah, I think it went down well. The kids enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was just a bizarre thing to do. But yes.
You know how fond I am of you, and so this isn't just blowing smoke up your lycra, but I've seen the pictures, and mate, you look good. I get why you might have
cold.
Yeah, you've been very busy at work. It's like, and I hasten to add that you have done so well there to have the confidence to strut around in lycra. I, for myself, do not have that confidence. I am my next dressing up occasion, as the all about the boys go on tour. I'm doing Father Christmas at my daughter's Christmas fair, where my hefty gut will actually be a key part of the costume. So I am very glad that I don't have to suck anything in or try and hold my breath for 3 hours.
I know it wasn't easy, but it took one for the team.
Mate,
it took one for the team.
You have done well there, my son. Well
but
done.
Let's talking about teams.
Yes.
Let's
come on. Let's do it.
Let's talk about this final.
Let's do it.
And then I've got an idea. I think we should do. Why don't we do a quiz and you can see if you can win some honor back for England.
That's how desperate we've got. Yes, Go on then. So look, I mean, first of all, mate, on behalf of England to South Africa, because I feel we're very much the ambassadors for both of those great nations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think you heartily deserved it. You were by far the better side on the day. Any talk, and I mean this genuinely, this isn't like a Ollie being sarcastic, any talk about the referee being poor or favouring South Africa, I think is absolute rubbish. I think you guys absolutely deserved it.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think, I still think the best game of the tournament was the semi-final. Hands down for me. I think, and that's the best I've ever seen an England rugby team play in my life.
I would agree with that.
So I don't want to take anything away from that. I just think, I said this to a lot of people, I think England peaked a week too early and South Africa peaked at the right time. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I think South Africa played their best game of the tournament in the final.
Yeah.
And England played their best game in the semi-final. And, unfortunately that is, everyone was saying before the game how England can match them in terms of their brute strength and power. And South Africa were a different level. They just, from the moment of the game, they just were in complete control, of every facet. And look, Carl Sinclair getting injured early on, I think had a much bigger impact than it looked at the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that not only did it obviously then immediately change the lineup from their first choice front row to the next choice, that pause in the game, it just kind of, I think South Africa coped with that a lot better than the English did. And I don't know whether and get knocked out and then having to go off or whatever. But yeah, England seemed to be rattled by that.
And Dan Cole, I think he's a very, very good prop, but his job in that team is not to play 77 minutes. His job in that team is to play 20 to 25. He's not as good with the ball as Sinclair is, obviously.
Yeah.
And he got out. It's just, you could just see his legs. The second half, he just, they just all dominated him completely. So, I think, as I say, I think it had a bigger impact than it seemed at that exact moment. But, I think South Africa scrummed brilliantly. Pollard kicked well, bar the first kick, which it's funny seeing the nerves. Farrell didn't look confident kicking. Like none of his kicks were, he looked confident, it was funny. It's funny the pressure of seeing such consistent performers wobble. I don't think Farrell played badly in the game, but he just that you could see, just didn't kick the ball cleanly and sweetly like he normally does.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think just the whole team were off, and they couldn't find their rhythm, and South Africa didn't let them find their rhythm. Yeah. It was interesting because I was thinking about this, that South Africa didn't actually change their game plan. They didn't. Clearly, Razzie and the Springboks leadership group didn't look at England in the semi-final and think, oh Christ, okay, we're going to need to try and change things up here because England is going to, run over us. I think they did two things. They stuck to the game plan that they know, which meant that the team were comfortable with that, but they tightened up the execution of it. So Faf's box kicks were just that little bit better. The chasing was that little bit better. Some of the errors from like Willie LaRue, for example, that were there in the semi weren't there in the final. The scrummaging went a step forward. But then the other thing is that England seemed to be able to really destroy teams who try and attack them and play a sort of attack game. They did against Australia in the quarters, they did against New Zealand in semis. When South Africa actually kind of played a different style to that, England really struggled. England really struggled to sort of to fall into their natural game plan, and hats off to the box.
I'm gonna say something that's going to sound very strange, so hear me out, and then you can give me your judgment. England didn't have a tough game, and what I mean by that is I'm not saying a difficult game. They didn't have a tough game. Yeah. Even when you play the Kiwis, it's not bruisingly ridiculous, in terms of that piece. And that I think the South Africa's the first ones they came up against, and it's like this is a different level of, against the Kiwis, there's a silkiness to the game, and it's much nicer, in that. So I think that it told, didn't they? That they didn't get that real challenge. I think the French might have given them that a bit, actually.
Yeah, do you know what's interesting? If you think back to England 2003, England, there were a couple of games, I think, in the World Cup where they were like down at half time. I think there was one against Wales from memory, and there's a couple where they were down at half time and had to fight their way back for the victory, and they found ways to do that. England in this World Cup, the hardest games were meant to be Argentina. Lavanini got sent off really early on, and the victory was pretty much assured from there. Yeah. France, they didn't play. Australia, they had to play well, but again, relatively quickly, it became clear that England had the upper hand and the lead on the scoreboard and the momentum. And even against New Zealand, England still had to play out of their skin to win, but they did that from the very first minute, and they were never behind. So at no point have they had to chase a game in this World Cup. And I think it showed. I think when it came down to it, and they really weren't on top in the final, they could not find a way to get back into the game. They got close, but they didn't have that ability to fight their way back. And again, South Africa just didn't let them.
And they didn't really ever look like they had one phase when they had like 20 odd phases, and but they did this. I thought it was a bit one dimensional what they were trying to do, and they were trying to run through a brick wall with, whereas actually there were moments you would want them to be tested. And although I have to say, both tries were class.
Oh, they were lovely, and that's. Do you know what? It's something that I think we've spoken about before, but it's one of the differences that having two genuine wingers makes to a side. There are so many teams who end up with utility players on the wings. Even New Zealand have done that before, like when they played Ben Smith there, for example. Yeah. But Colby and Mabimbe are just out and out gas with winger talent. The little chips ahead, ability to control the ball off the boot, and sort of have confidence to gas a man and sidestep. They're absolute brilliant wingers.
That little pop pass from after he it was just because
cheeky.
World Cup final, you would just think he'd just go for the line there, right? He probably maybe even would have scored, but it was just that to do that.
I assumed the ref had blown for something because he was so nonchalant in the way he just didn't look and passed the ball left, and then didn't even start celebrating. Like I was like, oh, well, the referee must have blown a whistle. No, it's a forward pass or something like that. But it wasn't. It was just totally, just so cool. But it was impressive. But here's a question
for you. Colby's step, though, just ridiculous.
Oh, I tell you what, A, his step, but B, his work in the air. Like, he's a small man, but he's a threat in the air.
He's the same height as me, but yes, he's
a big man. He's deceptively big. But yeah,
he's an average-sized Power Ranger at a party, I'll tell you that much for free.
Pocket rockets. Yeah. But here's a question for you. So the English have come in the English players come in for a lot of stick for some of them not wearing their medals after the at the sort of the awards time. What are your views
like, I don't know, traditionally, would you walk, like, over the years, has everyone worn it?
Do you know what? I don't know.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Sonny Bill Williams gave his away, so I mean,
yes, yeah, true. I mean, to the way I look at it is that wasn't disrespectful. That they went up there, they shook the hand of the people giving the presentation, they took their medal, and they walked away. I find it really difficult for us to say to these people that you need to be warriors, gladiators, uber competitive and uber focused on this one thing that will define your career. And then when you lose that thing, you have to go and put that medal around your neck. I think I think it's perfectly fine for them to go up. If they had refused to go up or had just hadn't shaken hands or whatever, then I think that would have been off. But they went up, they collected them. Maybe they go, actually, do you know what? This is a sign for us. We don't want to accept this. We want to come back next time and win it. And this is just our thing. We'll talk about it fondly in years to come, but right now this is too much. So I don't know. I think it's okay. But
yeah, I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? Because I think different people would have different view. I mean, I'm historically, if anyone who knows me, I'm not a great winner or a great loser, so I probably wouldn't be wearing mine. So, I'm the wrong person to ask.
It's funny as well. I think if we were going to lose, South Africa's the best side to lose to, partly down to Khaleesi's story and just his kind of, I don't know, role in this whole World Cup, because he hasn't actually been the best player on his side. He hasn't been, he won't make the World Cup 15 kind of thing for best, flankers or whatever. Yeah. But his story and what he's done for his country and his people and all that kind of stuff, you're like, man, if anyone's going to win it, he deserves it.
I mean, I don't even think he's the best number. He's not the best number 6 in the Springbok team. Never mind, But as a leader, and I don't want to be that political podcast, but it's I was chatting to some English friends here. It's a humongous thing of what has just happened there.
Yeah.
In terms of the politics, South Africa is divided at the moment. So actually, it just shows. I think I saw a brilliant picture of like Esabeth kissing like Bongi and Mbani on the head. And it was just it was basically just 2 fingers up to everyone who thinks that South Africa should be a divided country and that colour should matter. And I was like, it was, from that facet alone, I'm glad they won it. I think it's important.
Yeah.
Speaking of, awkward, funny situations in that, did you see Prince Harry meeting the Springbok team? Have you seen the video?
No, what's happened?
Well, Faf de Klerk, bear in mind, Prince Harry's walked into the dressing room to meet everyone.
Yeah.
Faf de Klerk walks up to him wearing a Champions Springbok cap and a South African flag bungee smugglers speedo.
Yeah.
It was just the the only time he's met Prince Harry, he's wearing a South African speedo, which was hilarious. And then Frans Steyn came over and gave Prince Harry a beer and was like, down it. And he was like, I can't down it. And he was like, no, you need to down it. And it was just the most awkward exchange going, mate, there's a camera right there. Even Prince Harry would not be irresponsible enough to neck a Heineken. It was just like, he had a sip, and I was like, mate, read the room. Frans Steyn, read the room.
Yeah.
I know he's
got like security officers leaning in, escorting him away and things like that.
Well, exactly.
So, right. I mean, that's the thing. Do you know what?
Funny.
I made this comment over the weekend that, despite the fact, before the game, I thought England were going to win. And so I was saying things like, despite the fact that Faf de Klerk looks like a Disney prince with that haircut, fairy tales are not going to come true. But they bloody did it. I
like it.
They bloody did it.
Yeah, it was class. It was class.
It was, man.
But
it was.
I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself.
Yes, come on then.
Okay, 3 questions each. Winner takes the Ellis Webb boiled egg cup holder trophy, which you will receive the next time I see you, if you are successful. So, do you want to go first or second?
I will go second, please.
So you asking the first question, is that what you mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's not what I meant, but yes, I'm good for that. Okay, so mine are all based around this World Cup.
Okay, go.
Who I'm not sure if this is totally unfair, but who was the fourth highest try scorer?
Right.
Actually, okay, so there's... Hang on, let me rephrase this question to make sure it's fair.
Okay.
There are 3 try scorers who each scored 4 tries in this World Cup, okay? One of them is Kenkai Fukuoka from Japan.
Sure.
Apologies. The other one is Julian...
The names are back.
The other one is Julian Montoya from Argentina.
Of course.
Name the other player who scored 4 tries in this Rugby World Cup.
The Japanese wing? Oh, no, you said the Japanese wing.
Yeah. Kenkai I've already got. I'm not going to try his surname again.
Can I have a country at least?
You can, mate. I'll give you a clue there. It's a Kiwi. It's a New Zealander.
It's a Kiwi?
Yeah, 4 tries. He's the Kiwi top scorer, actually, in tries for the World Cup. And I'll help you out even further. He's one ahead of Beauden Barrett.
Oh, that was going to be my guess. Was Barrett?
Yeah. No, he's one ahead of Beauden Barrett, who was in at 3 tries.
That's not easy. Geordie Barrett? Did Geordie Barrett score? Geordie Barrett.
Geordie Barrett also got 3.
Right.
The answer is, and this will be a bit surprising, I think, Ben Smith.
Oh,
because I don't think Ben Smith played many games, to be fair. But
I think Ben Smith was at the World Cup. So.
Yeah.
That shows my knowledge. Okay, over to you.
Okay.
Who scored the fastest try in the tournament and against who?
Sugar.
I'm going to need an answer. Because it's a podcast.
Yeah, sorry. A dead air is not actually exciting for anybody, is it?
Can you edit some music in here, please?
Yeah. That's not editing, that's me being an idiot.
Yes.
Mate, I don't know. For some reason, I want to say Uruguay.
Okay, go. Say Uruguay.
Uruguay.
No. I'd still like to win, and I messed up the first one. So, Tuolagi, 80 seconds.
Against
Kiwis.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Do you know? I thought about that.
The second quickest one was Jonathan Davies for Wales.
3
minutes in, so
God damn it.
You could say Uruguay, but I mean it was wrong.
Yeah.
So, so a solid 2 early penalties missed. One by Farrell, one by Pollard.
Solid start.
Over to you. Go on.
Okay. Who made the most tackles in the World Cup? Which player made the most tackles in the World Cup? And he was 8 tackles ahead of number 2.
I have to admit, I read this stat. I read the stat yesterday when I was reading stuff. So, Alan Wynne-Jones.
That's right.
Solid.
Mate, yeah, 79 tackles. Itoje and second with 71, and Sam Wonderhill 69.
Your man crashed top 3 though.
My man crashed. Actually, I tell you what, just to interrupt the quiz, halfway through the game on Saturday, I was watching it with my 5-year-old daughter, and she was going for England, cheering away, and then she sort of about just before half time, she said, "Daddy, what's the score?" And I think England were losing, I don't know, like 12-6 or something like that at the time. Yeah. And I said, it's 12 to the Springboks in green, 12 to South Africa, and 6 to England in. Paused and then looked at me and went, "Daddy, I'm going to support the Greens." And I actually got quite angry with her. I made her, so she was wearing my England rugby shirt, and I actually made her take my England rugby shirt off.
Well, I think that's justified.
And I said, you can't, if you're going to do that, you can't wear that shirt. And I then caught myself in the mirror and I'm like, you sad man.
No, I think that's fair enough. I think that's actually well within enough. So, okay. Right. This is your chance. You've got a penalty in front of the polls.
Yes.
What is the lowest final points total for a World Cup final between both teams together?
Oh, God.
You can either just give me the teams or you can give me the total. It's up to you.
18 points?
No, but I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself.
Damn it!
It's knocked off the bar. It's still in the air. Is it going to land which side?
Was it South Africa, England? Didn't they play quite a low-scoring affair?
No, that was a low-scoring, but it was. Is that your final answer?
That is. No, it's not. Oh. There it is. Yeah.
New Zealand, France in the 2011 final when it was 8-7. 15 points game.
Mate, I was so close.
So close. So this is for the victory. I'll ask mine first to keep me honest.
Yeah.
South Africa scored the third most points in a final with 32.
Yeah.
There's 2 points up for grabs here for you.
Yeah.
Who scored? There's 4 points up for grabs if you can give me the points.
Oh.
But who scored the most points in a final and who scored the second most points in a final? That makes sense.
I think New Zealand scored the most in 2015. Or is that right? No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, New Zealand against Australia, 2015. I can't remember how many they scored. 30 odd, wasn't it?
It was 30. It was definitely more than 32.
35.
Close. That is the record, but it was not New Zealand who scored 35 points. Australia scored 35 points in a final against France in 1999 when they beat the French 35-12 in Cardiff.
Damn it.
But you were correct in terms of 2015 was the second highest points scored in a final, 34-17 to the Kiwis.
1 point out. So damn it.
You were
Story
close.
Of my life, mate. Story of my life.
Unfortunately, as the final went on Saturday, I've comfortably... Ask me the last question.
Too soon.
The ball's been thrown out to the ball's been thrown out to Cheslin. Can he finish?
Oh my god. Okay.
You can ask me a really hard question now. Just stitch me out.
What is the middle name of the fan who was sitting in seat? All-time question for you. Not just this last World Cup, but all World Cups.
Right.
Of the top 5 try scorers, top try scorers of all time in rugby World Cups.
Yeah.
How many of them, of the top 5, how many of them are from New Zealand?
Top 5. 2.
For a bonus point, which you don't need in any way, shape, or form. This is literally rubbing it in. This is the Colby try. Can you name the 2 you think it is? I'm not saying 2's right, but I'm just saying can you? I know.
One is John Olomu.
Yes.
Who was also the youngest player ever to play in a final.
Oh, really?
At 20 years old.
Oh, but yeah, because Tom Curry was quite young, wasn't he? He was like 21 or something like that.
21,
22.
yeah. So Jonah was 20 in 1995, which is mad, isn't it? How to have the impact he did when he was 20 years old. But
that's insane.
Ben Smith.
Mate, well, you're right with 2. You're right with 2. So it's Havana at 15, then Loma at 15 as well. Drew Mitchell from Australia with 14, and then the second Kiwi, Doug Howlett with 13, and then Adam Ashley Cooper, with 12. So mate, you have absolutely.
Did Doug Howlett play cricket for New Zealand too?
No, I don't think he did. But Wilson, who's the Jeff Wilson played cricket for New Zealand.
Yes, that's
he
what
was
I'm
a dual
thinking.
international.
Close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so thank you very much. I expect my Ellis Webb boiled egg cup holder trophy when I see you next.
Pissed off with this whole thing. So, mate, we've had a great year of World Cups. Actually, Cricket World Cup was stonking. Rugby World Cup, amazing. And it was an amazing tournament. Like we need to move on. We need to say goodbye. But I don't remember apart from like maybe 2003 when we actually won it. I don't remember enjoying a World Cup more. I think
this has been the best World Cup. I think for me, just in terms of everything, I think it's been.
I think it was absolute class. So that's official.
So
Rugby World Cup Japan 2019 has been given the All About the Balls Best World Cup Ever.
Yeah.
Award.
Fact. So should we let's just end on a bit of football very briefly.
Yes.
Just because we've always said that we want to try and have a bit of comedy in the show. So let's talk comedy now. with a 3-letter word which stands for very average refereeing. I think.
Oh my God, mate! I've been whinging about VAR or VAR, however you want to say it, for a while now. But I think we're now on the same page, aren't we?
I just don't get it. I don't get what the point of it. I get what the point of it is. I just don't get how they cannot decide why they don't go and look on the screens. It makes no sense. It's just the whole thing's just hilarious to me. I feel like they're making decisions, and then when they make an error, they are, reversing it. Like I heard, really, like it's just like Anthony Taylor, he was the VAR ref yesterday, but he was the ref on Saturday when his would overturn. So then he's too worried to overturn other ones. Like I just don't get it. I don't get the plan. It's just bizarre. I
was chatting to a guy, he's a big Liverpool fan, actually. You'd like him, yesterday. And he was saying that, he was sort of commenting about VAR and saying how, it was brought in kind of like, DRS was in cricket to get rid of the howler, to avoid those howlers. But it is now, the game is now changing for the sake of technology, rather than technology changing and evolving to support the game. And there were things like that. I don't know which. When the VAR was used against Liverpool on Saturday with the armpit. Like, I think even the FA or Premier League have come out and explained that he was, it was his armpit that was offside or something. There is no way that player has an advantage, that attacker has an advantage over the defender because his armpit is ahead. And yet, they've denied the goal. This is absolutely ridiculous.
The whole thing for me is it's supposed to be clear and obvious errors. That's the point, right? If you're looking at something for 3 minutes, it's not clear and obvious, so you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. And have you seen when they start doing the offside and there's like trigonometry lines coming off and someone's getting like Pythagoras' theorem out and things like that? You're like, this is ridiculous.
The whole thing's a joke. But the only positive is it's terrible for everyone.
Yeah. Fans are now, they're saying at the ground, you're starting to not celebrate goals because you're just waiting now for something to be reviewed or overturned or whatever.
But it's worked a lot better in other leagues. VAR's been in Germany for a while now. It's been in France for a while. It's been in Italy for a while. I think it's their second or third season with it, or at least second. I think it's third, and like there just doesn't seem to be these issues. The mind boggles of how they managing to get this so wrong. But I don't know. But mate, did you see the absolutely horrific ankle break?
Christ!
Ankle dislocation break. I think it was.
It's at right angles to his leg, isn't it?
Well, for anyone who didn't see, there was Andre Gomes, a Portuguese player for Everton. Just dislocated and fractured his ankle. But the weird thing is, right, Son got sent off for it.
Yes.
Because of the extent of the injury.
Yes.
Not because of the tackle. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's the thing that I really don't understand, because I've heard this spoken about in like other sports as well, where they've said the decision of the ref cannot be influenced by the extent of the injury that the player receives. So the ref gave it as a yellow card, and then he saw the fact that this guy was now like bent like a bloody Barbie doll or something like that, and went, oh, actually no, that looks like a red card. You're like, no, but the tackle was.
Yeah, but the point was, he fell afterwards and did his injury. The contact with Son and his foot wasn't the break. That didn't break then.
That's
all he did
true.
Was it stopped him from falling. Sorry, it forced him to fall, and then his next step he then did his ankle.
But it was the other player, it was the other Spurs player coming in from the other side that actually, and not saying it was his fault like that, but it was that contact that actually caused the injury.
Well, I think he stepped on it and he's just twisted, and then he got caught twisting.
Yeah,
it was a yellow card. There's no way it was red. I mean, to be fair, Son was so distraught, I don't think he would have carried on anyway. They would have subbed him off. But But my point is, I just don't get how that. Because if a innocuous push or shoulder barge, the guy goes flying over, cracks his head open on a board, like a sponsor board, is that a red card?
You cannot. It's got to be down to the incident, the act, not the result.
100%.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those ones where you don't actually need to see the injury. You just look at the reactions of the players around when they look down and see it, and you can see them like struggling to control themselves.
Ridiculous.
They're all in a bad way, man.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Lots more talk about manager sackings as well. Both Arsenal and Man U continuing to get lots of banter about how the manager should go.
Yeah, it's just, well, I think Emery's apparently got a month to save his job. So
yeah, that's always what you want just before Christmas. Because losing your job before Christmas is a nightmare.
Oh, don't know. Ask Mourinho. He knows.
Mate, Mourinho to Arsenal. Can you imagine?
Well,
no, sure.
I think Spurs fans will be happy because about 2 weeks ago it was Mourinho to Spurs. So I think they will be very happy if he win that way. So, but we shall see. We shall see. But mate, sadly it's the end of the World Cup. I'm a bit gutted about that.
Yeah, I know. I don't. What's next? I mean, we're just back to that.
I was chatting to someone
now.
on Saturday, but it's just bog standard Premier League football and a bit of rugby, but
it's nothing exciting for a while, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit bizarre. I mean, we obviously got the Olympics and stuff to come, but
we'll find something. We will find an interesting, hilarious bent to whatever is going on. So yeah, we'll be there for you. Don't you worry. We'll be there through the long winter nights. Gareth and Ollie will cradle you by the fireside and whisper sweet nothings into your ear.
Bizarre chat about sport. But mate, hope you have a wonderful week.
You too, bud.
I will speak to you on the other side, same time, same place next week.
Go, Brocky.
But I hope you have a good one, and I'll chat to you soon.
See you, bud. Cheers. Go well.
Cheers.